How do you go from saying, been waiting for a healthy relationship and I finally got one, to shooting that woman 15 times and running her over twice with her own car? That's not a question from a movie. That's not fiction. That's exactly what happened to star Michael Tucker, a woman who served her country, raised her son alone, studied to heal others, and was murdered by the man she thought would love her. And all of it, from I love you to gunshots and tires crushing her bones, happened in just 4 months. This is not just another crime story. This is the kind of story that leaves you sitting in silence, wondering how something this evil could hide in plain sight. Before we go on, please click like and subscribe button for more interesting stories from us. Now let's get back to where we stopped. Who was Star Tucker? Her full name was Star Michael Latrice Tucker, born in 1995, originally from California. She was raised alongside her sisters, Dominique and the youngest, Raya Tucker, a tight-knit family that had already faced its share of life's challenges. But Star, she pushed through everything. She enrolled at Florida A&M University and pursued a degree in nursing, even while raising her young son as a single mother. She wasn't just a student either. Star also served in the United States Air Force, a senior airman in the 919th Special Operations Medical Squadron at Duke Field, Florida. People around her described her with the same words over and over. She was sweet. She was kind. She was never angry, never negative, always had something nice to say. She was respected. She was focused. And most of all, she was loved. In October 2024, Star met Charles Jerome Carson Doughty, a 30-year-old man from Mobile, Alabama. On the surface, he seemed like a regular guy, handsome, talkative, charming, the kind of man who posted TikToks about love, relationships, and his readiness to settle down. But scroll a little deeper into his timeline, and you'd see the signs, red flags waving right in your face.
I hate when I'm dating and talking to somebody and they be like, oh, you're always in the house, you don't ever go nowhere. But they know if I go get a fresh retwist, a fresh fade, and put on some clothes and go outside, I'm gonna be a problem. So you either want me to stay in the house and play this video game or go be a problem. You choose.
That wasn't just talk. That was control. That was a man already hinting at how dangerous his ego could be, especially when things didn't go his way. And Star had no idea. At first, the relationship seemed like a dream. Charles moved quickly, showering Star with affection, posting her pictures, even posing with her son like he was already part of the family. Been waiting for a healthy relationship and I finally got one, Charles wrote proudly online. For Star, it looked like everything was falling into place. Her nursing degree was almost complete. Her military career was thriving. And now, finally, it looked like she'd found love again. They moved in together at an apartment complex on Baldridge Drive in Ferry Pass, a neighborhood in Escambia County, Florida. But behind those couple selfies and TikTok videos, Charles was changing. He was becoming agitated, possessive, jealous of her time, her friends, her independence. Star started noticing the shift, and she wanted out. But Charles wouldn't let go. And what happens when a man like that feels like he's losing control? He becomes dangerous. The narcissist's biggest supporters are going to be their family and friends, and the biggest one is going to be their mum. Star saw it. She tried to leave, but Charles had already made up his mind. If he couldn't have her, then nobody could. Then, on that faithful day in January 2nd, 2025. That night, it all came to a head. Inside their apartment complex, An argument broke out, one of many. But this time, Charles snapped. He pulled out a gun. And before Star could even scream or run, he opened fire. 15 shots. 7 of them hit her. She tried to escape. She fell in the parking lot. She was bleeding out. But Charles wasn't finished. He got into her Jeep Cherokee, and he ran her over, and then he backed up and ran her over again. Let that sink in. This man, who once said he was in a healthy relationship, just used the woman's own vehicle to crush her body. Not once, but twice. Neighbors stepped outside. People ducked. Some screamed, but several ran toward the sound, and what they saw would haunt them forever. Star Tucker was lying in the parking lot, unmoving, shot, crushed. Her Jeep was gone. 911 calls flooded in from multiple residents. Paramedics and Escambia County deputies arrived within minutes, but what they found wasn't a scene. It was a war zone. Star was still alive, barely. 7 bullet wounds, bones shattered from being run over. She was rushed to the nearest hospital. Doctors and trauma surgeons fought to save her, but the damage was too severe. She died that night, the same night she tried to leave, the same night she said, "I've had enough." While doctors were trying to bring Star back to life, Charles was already on the road. He was speeding down Interstate 10, headed west. Destination, Mobile, Alabama. But here's the part that no one was prepared for. Charles picked up his phone and called the father of Star's son, the ex-boyfriend. He didn't call to warn him. He didn't call to say goodbye. He called to say something no man should ever hear. "The mother of your child is dead, and I killed her." Let that settle in for a second. That man was sitting there, holding the phone, hearing that his son's mother had just been murdered by her boyfriend. Charles added, "I don't want to talk about what happened." But then, almost like he couldn't stop himself, he started confessing. He said something chilling. Everything was good, and then some rage broke out. He claimed he was now under a bridge, trying to figure out what to do. He sounded confused, scared, maybe even regretful. But the damage was done. The ex, now thinking fast, kept Charles talking. Meanwhile, deputies were on the other line, tracing everything in real time. Then Charles slipped up. He said he had a flat tire. He was stuck, waiting for roadside assistance, just sitting in Star's Jeep Cherokee like it was just another bad night. "You just killed your girlfriend, shot her 7 times, ran her over twice, and now you're calling LA?" About 10 minutes later, police found the Jeep. It was pulled over just past the Alabama state line, right near a restaurant called Ralph and Cuckoo's, sitting on the causeway, stuck on a flat tire. Charles was standing right there, looking calm. Roadside technicians were helping him change the tire. That's when officers from Spanish Fort Police Department rolled up. There was no chase, no fight. Charles Doughty just stood there, like nothing happened. He was arrested on the spot. Time of arrest, 12:52 a.m., January 3rd, 2025. Just under 5 hours after he turned Star's life into a nightmare. They took him to Baldwin County Jail, where officers immediately began to question him. His first words, "My life is over." But when asked what really happened between him and Star, he shut down. No formal statement, no remorse, just silence. As detectives began piecing the case together, it became clear that Charles had been planning something, or at least spiraling for weeks. Between social media rants, public jealousy control issues, and his violent criminal record, Star had been dating a ticking time bomb. Court records revealed something chilling. In early 2023, Charles had already been arrested in Mobile. He was listed as a fugitive, wanted for assault in the state of Texas. So let's be very clear. This man had a history, a past that was violent, a pattern that wasn't hidden. It was public. And yet Star never knew. No one warned her. No one protected her, because no one looked close enough. When word got out that Senior Airman Star Tucker had been murdered, the ripple hit hard. Her military unit at Duke Field went silent. Her classmates from nursing school broke down. Her family back in California, her sisters Dominique and Raya, were devastated.
Escambia deputies have made an arrest after a murder last night. They have charged Charles Carson Doughty with the second-degree murder of his girlfriend. Now, family members have identified the victim as 30-year-old Star Tucker.
I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't have all the right words. I'm tired. I haven't slept. I hardly eat. I'm just exhausted. I feel like I'm in a nightmare. He seemed sweet. He seemed innocent. He seemed charming.
But you never know until it's too late. And that's the part that hits, because every day across this country, there's another woman out there who thinks she's safe, who thinks her boyfriend is just a little controlling, just a bit intense, just going through something. And she has no idea that she's living with a man capable of killing her. After his arrest, Charles Jerome Carson Doughty was extradited back to Escambia County, Florida. He walked into the courtroom with his head down, but the room was watching every move he made. The judge looked over the reports. 15 rounds fired, 7 bullets struck, run over twice with her own vehicle. Then came the criminal background, the 2023 fugitive charge in Mobile, the Texas assault warrant. This wasn't a moment of passion. This was a man with a pattern, a man who didn't just snap, he spiraled, ignored red flags, and dragged an innocent woman down with him. The judge didn't hesitate. Bond denied. Charles would remain behind bars, awaiting trial for second-degree murder. Meanwhile, prosecutors got to work. They weren't just building a case. They were building a wall. Phone records, witness statements, social media posts, surveillance from the apartment complex. They gathered everything. We're going to continue to build the case and make it even stronger so that he will remain in jail. That was the word from the sheriff's office. They were done playing. Charles wasn't just another name in the system. He was going to be held accountable. While the court system focused on prosecution, Star Tucker's family and military unit focused on remembrance. Her brothers and sisters in uniform at Duke Field organized a celebration of life, a full service to honor a woman who had served with dignity, strength, and grace. She was so close to finishing her nursing degree. She had already been promoted in rank, 1 semester away from graduation, 1 foot in a brighter future, 1 more push before it all was taken from her. Her sister said, "She would have been the best nurse." I know she would have. Because Star Tucker didn't just walk through life, she lifted people, she healed people. She didn't just wear the uniform, she earned it. She didn't just post about goals, she chased them with everything she had. And now, she's gone, because she tried to leave the wrong man, and he made sure she couldn't. Let's be very, very clear. Charles didn't look like a monster on the outside. He wasn't walking around with blood on his hands. He was smiling in selfies, posting funny TikToks, bragging about being a good man looking for love. But if you really looked, you'd see it. The insecurity, the control, the need to own someone instead of love them. And Star didn't know until it was too late. Let's talk real for a second. There's a Star Tucker out there right now, in New York, or Texas, or Mississippi, thinking her boyfriend's just jealous, or passionate, or going through it. But here's the truth. Jealousy isn't love. Control isn't care. Possession isn't protection. If someone doesn't let you breathe, if they blow up when you say no, if they need to own you to feel okay, that's not a relationship. That's a warning sign. And if you're someone who hears these stories and stays silent, that silence can be the reason someone ends up on the news. We say this again and again, but we'll never stop saying it. If you know someone in a controlling relationship, say something. If you see the red flags, speak up. If someone tells you they're scared of their partner, believe them. Because the next name on the news doesn't have to be someone you barely know. It could be your friend, your sister, your daughter. Rest in power, Star Tucker Star. Michael Latrice Tucker was 30 years old. A mother, a soldier, a nurse in the making. She didn't deserve to die. Not like that. Not by the hands of a man she once cooked for, smiled with, and trusted. But this story isn't just about her. It's about everyone she leaves behind. A son who will never see his mom again. A family still asking why. A military squadron missing a sister. A nursing class with an empty seat. And now, a country that has to face the fact that domestic violence doesn't always look like a black eye or a broken arm. Sometimes it looks like a smile, a text message, a TikTok. Until one night, it doesn't. Thank you for rocking with us here at Murder We Heard TV, but before you go, if you found value in this conversation, if this story made you pause, reflect, or see the red flags more clearly, then please, click that like button to help us push this message further. Drop a comment to honor Star Tucker or share your thoughts, and subscribe to Murder We Heard TV, because every week we uncover the stories that others whisper about, but need to be heard loud. Your support doesn't just help this channel, it helps raise awareness. It helps save lives. Thank you for being part of the conversation. We'll see you in the next episode. Stay safe, stay aware, stay blessed,